Man aged 76 married 25-year-old beauty. He told her he was 86, quipped Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, showing us that humour and wisdom can often intertwine. Would you love me if I lost all my money? Of course. I will miss you, but I will still love you. When the phone doesn't ring, you'll know that's me, he chuckles.
My wife ran away with my best friend and I still miss him a lot.
Archaeologists make the best spouses, he claims. Perhaps because they appreciate history, value patience, and understand that uncovering the truth takes time. To finish first, you must first finish. Help me, O Lord, to be chaste but not yet. Opportunities come infrequently. When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble, he advises. If you aren't thinking about owning a stock for 10 years, don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes, he instructs. Tell me who your heroes are, and I'll tell you how you'll turn out to be. Games are won by players who focus on the playing field, not by those whose eyes are glued to the scoreboard, he says. I don't look to jump over 7-foot bars. I look around for 1-foot bars that I can step over, he shares. I insist on a lot of time being spent almost every day to just sit and think. That is very uncommon in American business. I read and think, so I do more reading and thinking, and make less impulse decisions than most people in business. I do it because I like this kind of life. Gold gets dug out of the ground in Africa or someplace. Then we melt it down, dig another hole, bury it again, and pay people to stand around guarding it. It has no utility. Anyone watching from Mars would be scratching their head, he muses. Too often, a vast collection of possessions ends up possessing its owner. The asset I most value, aside from health, is interesting, diverse, and long-standing friends. You can't make a good deal with a bad person, he warns, reminding us that integrity matters in business and life. Money will not change how healthy you are or how many people love you. Wealth can't buy health or love. It's much easier to stay out of trouble now than to get out of trouble later. The trick is, when there is nothing to do, do nothing. If principles can become dated, they're not principles, he points out, underlining the enduring nature of true principles. Don't risk what is important to you to get what is not important to you, he cautions, encouraging us to prioritize what truly matters. You are neither right nor wrong because the crowd disagrees with you. Good profits are not inconsistent with good behavior. We intend to continue our practice of working only with people whom we like and admire. This policy not only maximizes our chances for good results, it also ensures us an extraordinarily good time. It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. The rich invest in time, the poor invest in money. Beware of geeks bearing formulas, he warns, cautioning against over-reliance on mathematical models. Without passion, you don't have energy. Without energy, you have nothing, he declares, linking passion to success. The investor of today does not profit from yesterday's growth. Businesses always invent new ways of losing money when the old ways seem to work just fine. I don't have a problem with guilt about money. The way I see it is that my money represents an enormous number of claim checks on society. It's like I have these little pieces of paper that I can turn into consumption. If I wanted to, I could hire 10,000 people to do nothing but paint my picture every day for the rest of my life. And the GDP would go up, but the utility of the product would be zilch, and I would be keeping those 10,000 people from doing AIDS research or teaching or nursing. I don't do that, though. I don't use very many of those claim checks. There's nothing material I want very much, and I'm going to give virtually all of those claim checks to charity when my wife and I die. We set no volume goals in our insurance business generally, and certainly not in reinsurance, as virtually any volume can be achieved if profitability standards are ignored. Forecasts may tell you a great deal about the forecaster. They tell you nothing about the future. It's what you do right now today that determines how your mind and body will operate 10, 20, and 30 years from now. Life is like a snowball. The important thing is finding wet snow and a really long hill. Wall Street is the only place that people drive to in a Rolls-Royce to take advice from people who ride the subway. It's nice to have a lot of money, but you don't want to keep it around forever. I prefer buying things. Otherwise, it's a little like saving sex for your old age. When you combine ignorance and leverage, you get some pretty interesting results. I do know that when I am 60, I should be attempting to achieve different personal goals than those which had priority at age 20. People always ask me where they should go to work, and I always tell them to go to work for whom they admire the most. You know, you keep doing the same things and you keep getting the same result over and over again. I don't look to jump over 7-foot bars. I look around for 1-foot bars that I can step over. Failing conventionally is the route to go. As a group, lemmings may have a rotten image, but no individual lemming has ever received bad press. You've got to keep control of your time, and you can't unless you say no. You can't let people set your agenda in life. His investment advice is simple and profound. Keep all your eggs in one basket, but watch that basket closely. I will tell you how to become rich. Close the doors. Be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful. No matter how great the talent or efforts, some things just take time. You can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. Honesty is a very expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people. The most important thing to do, if you find yourself in a hole, is to stop digging. Somebody once said that in looking for people to hire, you look for 3 qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. And in that order, if you don't have the first, the other 2 will kill you. You think about it, it's true. If you hire somebody without integrity, you really want them to be dumb and lazy. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. There's class warfare, all right, but it's my class, the rich class, that's making war, and we're winning. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Should you find yourself in a chronically leaking boat, energy devoted to changing vessels is likely to be more productive than energy devoted to patching leaks. You only have to do a very few things right in your life so long as you don't do too many things wrong. You never know who's swimming naked until the tide goes out. There seems to be some perverse human characteristic that likes to make easy things difficult. I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. I will tell you the secret to getting rich on Wall Street. You try to be greedy when others are fearful, and you try to be fearful when others are greedy. Every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future. Never ask a barber if you need a haircut. What the wise do in the beginning, fools do in the end. If you've been playing poker for half an hour and you still don't know who the patsy is, you're the patsy. Honesty is a very expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. In the business world, the rearview mirror is always clearer than the windshield. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. It's better to hang out with people better than you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours, and you'll drift in that direction. I could end the deficit in 5 minutes. You just pass a law that says that any time there is a deficit of more than 3% of GDP, all sitting members of Congress are ineligible for re-election. A radical proposal for fiscal responsibility. I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. And finally, if you're in the luckiest 1% of humanity, you owe it to the rest of humanity to think about the other 99%. To summarize, these quotes provide a window into the mind of one of the most successful investors of our time, offering insights on a range of topics from investing and business strategy to personal philosophy and social responsibility. Thank you for taking the time to listen to these words of wisdom. Until the next time, goodbye.